In this movie, we'll use what we learned about timers and interframe events in order to dynamically move an object on the stage up, down, left, and right using the keyboard arrows. But before we can do that, we need to first take a look at the keyboard events. Each key on the keyboard has a certain code associated with it. It's called a key code. To explain more about that, let's open up our Actions panel. And we will write a function that traces each code associated with each key on the keyboard. So we will add an event listener to the stage that listens for a key on the keyboard to be pressed, and when that key is pressed, it will trace the code associated with that key. So we'll write stage dot add event listener. It's going to be a keyboard event dot key, all uppercase, underscore down, and then comma, which is similar to the mouse underscore down, which means whenever a key is pressed. And then the function that we will use to trace the key code associated with each key will be called tracer. And then function tracer, then the event variable e colon keyboard event colon void, then a set of parentheses, then the set of braces, and then we write trace, and this part is new. We'll trace e colon key code, and then a semicolon to end your statement. And I'm sorry, that is key e dot key code, not e colon key code. And what that means is we're referring to this event, which means the key that is being pressed right now. So whenever we press a key, E is being referred to that specific key we're pressing. Then we will trace the key code associated with this key. That's why this is called an event variable, because it could take several values, which in this case are any key on the keyboard. So we'll write hit Control Enter, test your movie, and pretty much whenever I press down a key, the key code associated with this key will be traced in my Outputs panel. But the keys I want are the up arrow key, the down arrow key, left and right arrow keys. So I'll press my up arrow key on my keyboard, then it shows that the key code for the up arrow key is 38. I'll write that down, and similarly the down key code is 40, the left key code is 37, and the right key code is 39. Write those down because we're going to use those in a second. Now to create the object I'm going to animate, go to the oval tool and create a simple circle. Hit V, double click to select both the fill and the stroke. Hit F8 to convert it to a symbol. Hit OK. And under my properties panel, I will give it an instance name of circle. And then I'll open up my actions panel, or you know what? I'll delete all of this and create a new layer to put my actions on. Hit F9 to open up our actions panel. And here, what I want to do is to first animate the circle using timers and then using interframe events. What I need to do first is to declare 4 variables or 4 timers. One for the up motion, one for the down motion, one for the left motion, and one for the right motion. So to start, var, we'll call it up timer. It's of type timer. Set it equal to a new timer. And we will let it fire off every 50 milliseconds. Semicolon. Then to save us some time, I'll copy this code. and then paste it 3 more times. The second one will be called down timer, left timer, and then right timer. Now we need to add event listeners to these timers, so up timer dot add event listener is going to be a timer event dot timer, all uppercase, comma, and then the function will be called up. Pretty simple. Again, let's copy this code and paste it 3 more times to save ourselves some time. This one will be the down timer, the left timer, and then the right timer. Function here will be called down. Here will be called left, and here it will be called right. So now we've defined our timers and added event listeners to them. Next, we need to define these functions up, down, left, and right. So function up, the event variable is e colon and then timer event colon void and then a set of empty braces. And to move the circle up, we need to subtract a certain value from the circle's y position. So circle dot y minus equals, let's set it to 5 for now. Again, copy this bit of code and paste it 3 more times. This one will be for the down, this one will be the down function, and this one will be the left function, and this one will be the right function. To move the circle down, we simply add 5 pixels to the circle's y coordinate. To move it left, we subtract 5 pixels from its x coordinate. To move it right, we add 5 pixels to its x coordinates. So now we have our functions that animate the circle up, down, left, and right. We have our timers and we have our event listeners to those timers. What's left? What's left is to start our timers. But we want a specific timer to start when a specific key has been pressed on the keyboard. So we will add an event listener to the stage that listens for keyboard events. So we'll write stage dot add event listener. It's going to be a keyboard event dot, and then I want the timers to start whenever I press down on a key. So this one will be key, all uppercase, underscore down. And then the function I want this event to trigger, sorry, there's a D here, keyboard event. This function will be called animate. Animate. Okay. Semicolon to enter your statement. Again, copy this bit of code. Paste it. This one, now this event listener will be listening for a key underscore up. That's because whenever I remove my finger from the key that I've pressed, I want it to stop animating. So the function will be unanimate. So now all what's left is to define these two functions. So function animate, it has an event variable of e colon keyboard, sorry, uppercase K, keyboard event colon void, because this function again is not returning any value, and then a set of curly braces. And within this function, I will write a set of if statements. Each if statement checks for a certain key code. One for the up, one for the down, left, and right key codes. So write if e dot key code is equal to first the up key code, which is 38. Then I want to start the up timer. Up timer dot start. And then copy this bit of code. Else if key code is equal to the down key code, which is 40, then the down timer should start. Down timer dot start. Copy this code here, paste it. Now the left key code, which is 37, left timer dot start, and finally the right key code, which is 39, and then the right timer should start. So we've set a function which animates whenever we press down a keyboard. Now we need to set a function which unanimates whenever we release this certain key. So we will copy this function and paste it here. I need to make some changes to this. Its name will be unanimate. It is a keyboard event. If e.keycode, that means that if the released key code, if the released key has a key code of 38, since the function unanimate is being triggered by an event which is key underscore up. So whenever I release a key, the function unanimate is triggered. So if the released key has a key code of 38, which is the up arrow key, up timer dot stop. Pretty simple. Again, if the released key has a key code of 40, which is the down arrow key, down timer dot stop. And same for the left timer and the right timer. Control Enter, test our movie. No errors, that's always a good sign. And if I press on the up, down, left, and right arrow keys, I can see that my ball animates up, down, left, and right, and even obliquely. If I press the up and right arrow keys simultaneously, if I am not happy with the speed of the animation of my circle, I can simply go to my Actions panel and simply increase the amount of pixels being added to the X and Y coordinates at each time the function is being triggered. I can also increase the frequency by which my timer is being triggered, so I can make it every 20 milliseconds. Now if I test my movie, I can see that the ball animates, or the circle animates, much quicker. In the next movie, we'll take a look on how to animate using interframe events.